They once worked together a long time ago. They're not friends now. They don't like each other. And yeah, 50 has taken every shot, especially when Diddy has been.
There was an insane party in Los Angeles, in Beverly Hills, on Saturday night. And in terms of net wealth, 3 people alone made it $1 trillion party. This was Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party, and it was held at the home of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez in Beverly Hills.
We've all seen the headlines, the viral clips, the hushed late-night conversations, moments when one name can ripple through Hollywood, Wall Street, and the justice system all at once. But what happens when that name isn't a rapper, a tech titan, or a reality star, but the mastermind behind one of the most powerful media empires of our time? Today, the spotlight turns to Kris Jenner, the matriarch who transformed family chaos into a billion-dollar brand. Online speculation and renewed scrutiny are raising uncomfortable questions about how deep influence, money, and power really run. From the fallout surrounding Diddy, to lingering mysteries tied to Britney Spears' fortune, to whispers about a private church with unusual financial ties, a web of connections is being examined more closely than ever before. No charges, no conclusions, just mounting questions. And in an era where perception can be as damaging as proof, even the most carefully curated image can begin to crack.
With the series, with the film.
I mean, I think the intention is to give a more full-bodied experience to what happened, from the people that agreed to sit down and to participate. And I feel like the film asks a lot of questions, maybe more questions are asked than answers given.
It started with a single tweet, then a cascade of them. By December 2025, the internet was locked onto one question. Why was 50 Cent suddenly coming for Kris Jenner? The rapper turned media mogul, riding momentum from his high-profile deep dives into celebrity power structures, began dropping cryptic hints about a new project. Fans dissected every post. Industry insiders grew uneasy. Then reports began to circulate. According to sources familiar with the matter, 50 Cent isn't just stirring online drama. He's developing a documentary series that aims to examine Kris Jenner's business empire, her financial strategies, and her proximity to some of Hollywood's most controversial figures, including names tied to Diddy's orbit. Legal analysts caution that while nothing has been proven, the allegations being discussed online, if substantiated, could carry serious implications. This isn't just gossip. It's a high-stakes collision of fame, power, and unanswered questions, and the fuse may already be burning.
We haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
The timing raised eyebrows. Just months earlier, in September 2024, Diddy's arrest sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. The federal indictment outlined sweeping allegations, racketeering, coercion, and the transportation of individuals across state lines for what prosecutors described as highly orchestrated encounters. As the case dominated headlines, investigators and journalists began re-examining Diddy's long-standing relationships across Hollywood. Among them, his well-documented proximity to the Kardashian-Jenner circle. Old clips resurfaced, including Khloe Kardashian's infamous 2014 Keeping Up with the Kardashians remark about a party where half the people were naked. Once dismissed as reality TV excess, the moment was suddenly recast online as something more troubling, context, not proof, but enough to fuel renewed speculation. Kris Jenner, long praised for mastering public narratives, was seen quietly distancing herself from a man she had previously described as a close friend. But as public attention fixated on Diddy, some commentators began scrutinizing Jenner's own business infrastructure. At the center of online discussion was a private religious organization associated with her name, founded in 2009. On paper, it operates as a place of worship. Critics, however, have alleged it functions as a sophisticated tax-advantaged structure, claims that have not been tested in court. According to reporting and financial analysts speaking hypothetically, donations rooted through such entities can offer legal tax benefits while keeping money within familiar circles. The Kardashian-Jenner family has not been accused of wrongdoing, and no charges have been filed. Still, the optics alone have invited intense debate. As one forensic accountant told The Hollywood Reporter, speaking generally about similar arrangements, the line between aggressive tax planning and abuse is thin, and perception can be as damaging as prosecution.
I have to finish the sentence. It does matter! It matters to us and you. It doesn't matter what the internet says. It matters what we think. Yay.
So what do you think? Did you have an effect on my mental health?
Yes. 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 I'm saying yes. And I love you. I love you. I don't want you to be not perfect. I love you. And I want my daughter to love you the way you want her to love you.
Then there's the Britney Spears connection, a thread so tangled it has fueled years of online theories and investigative chatter. In 2018, Britney's sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, was named trustee of one of Britney's major financial trusts, a move that immediately drew scrutiny from fans already questioning the conservatorship. Around that same period, court filings and financial reporting referenced large transfers connected to Britney's estate, sparking widespread claims online that hundreds of millions of dollars were unaccounted for. Those claims have never been proven, but the timing raised eyebrows. Enter Lou Taylor, Britney's former business manager and a central figure in the conservatorship structure. Taylor's long career intersects with multiple powerful players. Early in her career, she worked at Uptown Records, where she crossed paths with a young Sean Diddy Combs. Decades later, she was reportedly managing financial interests tied to both Diddy and Britney, a convergence that critics say deserves closer examination. Taylor has denied wrongdoing, and no court has ruled that funds were improperly taken. The intrigue deepens with religious institutions linked to those same networks. Taylor's husband is associated with Calvary Chapel, a church organization that, like many large religious entities, has faced periodic public scrutiny over finances, again, without criminal findings. To skeptics, the overlap between celebrity management, churches, and tax-advantaged structures feels less like coincidence and more like a recurring pattern. Attention has also turned to Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's longtime partner. A resurfaced 2020 Instagram post thanking Kim Porter and Diddy for all you did for my life has been dissected endlessly online. Some insiders claim Gamble was deeply embedded in Diddy's social and professional circles, claims that remain unverified but persistent. Fueling speculation further, fans noticed Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian unfollowed Diddy on Instagram shortly before federal raids on his properties in March 2024. Coincidence or instinct? The family has not commented. Around the same time, observers pointed to Kim Kardashian's reported financial windfall following the sale of a major stake in Kylie Cosmetics, numbers that conspiracy-minded critics have linked, without evidence, to unrelated claims about Britney's finances. No charges, no conclusions, but when the same names, institutions, and dollar figures keep resurfacing, questions multiply. And in an era defined by subpoenas, digital records, and forensic accounting, image control alone may not be enough to quiet them.
Documentary, I think a lot of people thought that he was just joking around. It turns out he's not, so this is actually a real project that's being made under his G Unit.
And 50 Cent isn't watching from the sidelines. According to industry chatter, he's being fed information from multiple directions, including figures who have had their own public fallouts with the Kardashian-Jenner machine and claim firsthand knowledge of its inner workings. If his rumored docuseries materializes, legal experts warn the fallout could be swift. RICO cases don't just pursue individuals, they dismantle systems. Meanwhile, Kris Jenner appears to be doing what she does best, projecting calm, glamour, and control, hosting lavish parties and smiling for cameras, even as scrutiny quietly builds behind the scenes.
And I mean, just the funny part about this is that when you're that rich, you just do what you do. Yeah, and totally. This time, the police came and they kind of schooled him, which I think is really interesting. It doesn't matter that it's Jeff Bezos.
Right.
But, by the way, we should say, it was thrown by Kris's daughters.
Yeah. But behind the scenes, signs of strain are reportedly emerging. Industry whispers suggest tension between Kim and Kylie over Kris Jenner's MAC Cosmetics deal, seen by some as a direct conflict with their own beauty empires. When revenue streams overlap, loyalty can fray, and money has always been the glue holding this machine together. If federal investigators widen their scope into the finances of affiliated churches, unresolved questions surrounding Britney Spears' estate, or even guest lists tied to Diddy's events, those internal cracks could widen into something far more damaging. And that's where the stakes escalate. The Kardashian-Jenner brand has thrived on an aura of invincibility. Scandals are managed, narratives reshaped, and crises monetized. But RICO cases don't respond to optics or spin. They look for patterns, recurring names, repeated transactions, overlapping relationships. Critics argue that pattern is hard to ignore. Repeated proximity to controversial figures, shared financial intermediaries, and systems that operated quietly for years. If 50 Cent's team truly has substantive documentation, this wouldn't just be another expose. It could resemble a blueprint, one prosecutors might find difficult to overlook.
I know. And sometimes I feel like what he's really trying, like he was like, oh, I'm $53 million in debt, or, that whole thing. And I'm like, what he was trying to say was, that's what he's done to spend on his clothing line over the last 15 or 20 years, whatever it's been. But it comes out not exactly the right way, and then people get it misconstrued, through the media, and then it's
And then there's the question few are asking out loud. Who else is on that list? 50 Cent didn't build his empire by thinking small. If Kris Jenner is the first domino in this narrative, critics wonder who might follow. Names being floated online include former business partners, quiet investors, and celebrities whose proximity to powerful social circles has largely escaped scrutiny. The implication isn't about one family, it's about an entire ecosystem, one where loyalty is transactional, where influence moves through private networks, and where the line between friendship and complicity can blur beyond recognition. As of this week, reports suggest Jenner's camp has shifted into full damage control mode. Attorneys are being consulted, messaging is tightening, and contingency plans are quietly taking shape. None of that implies guilt, but it does signal awareness of how quickly perception can spiral. In the court of public opinion, even a suggestion of concealment can be corrosive, especially for a brand built on curated transparency. What is certain is momentum. A docuseries tied to 50 Cent is reportedly moving forward. Online investigators continue to connect dots, whether valid or not. Federal agencies, including financial crime units, rarely comment publicly, and their silence is fueling speculation rather than calming it. Kris Jenner has long been celebrated for doing whatever it takes to protect her family's legacy. Now, observers argue the challenge may be fundamentally different. This isn't about controlling headlines or outrunning paparazzi. It's about whether decades of power, proximity, and profit withstand sustained scrutiny. The real question may no longer be whether the Kardashian-Jenner empire survives another scandal, but whether, when the dust settles, the structure beneath the image remains intact. If recent weeks have shown anything, it's that once the first domino tips, the rest rarely fall quietly.
As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about, was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I mean, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, talked about all over the country. All eyes were on him, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom.
The deeper analysts dig, the clearer it becomes that Kris Jenner's empire wasn't built on reality television alone. It rests on a dense web of relationships, strategic, long-standing, and often opaque, where influence flowed quietly behind the scenes. Tug at one thread, critics argue, and the entire tapestry could start to unravel. At the center of that web stands Corey Gamble, a figure who has remained remarkably enigmatic despite nearly a decade at Jenner's side. Publicly, Gamble is known as Kris Jenner's longtime partner. Privately, insiders describe him as something more calculated, a connector between the Kardashian-Jenner brand and powerful figures now facing intense federal scrutiny. His resurfaced 2020 Instagram post thanking Diddy and the late Kim Porter for all you did for my life has taken on new significance. What once looked like nostalgia is now being framed by online commentators as a digital breadcrumb, context, not evidence, but notable in hindsight. Gamble's ties to Diddy reportedly predate his relationship with Jenner. Before he became a fixture at Kardashian-Jenner events, multiple accounts place him regularly within Diddy's inner social orbit, attending the same exclusive gatherings that have since become central to ongoing investigations. Some former Bad Boy Records staffers, speaking anonymously, claim Gamble's role went beyond attendance, alleging he helped facilitate introductions, coordinate logistics, and manage access at high-profile events. These claims have not been substantiated in court. One former assistant described Gamble as someone who made sure things ran smoothly, adding that if any of those activities now under scrutiny intersected with his involvement, his proximity to Kris Jenner could pose reputational and potentially legal risks. Again, no charges have been filed, and Gamble has not been accused of wrongdoing. Complicating matters further is Lou Taylor, the financial manager central to Britney Spears' conservatorship, and a figure whose professional relationships overlap with multiple names in this unfolding narrative. Critics argue that when the same intermediaries, institutions, and social circles keep resurfacing, coincidence becomes harder to accept, even if proof remains elusive. For now, it's a story built on connections, timing, and unanswered questions. But as scrutiny intensifies, those connections are being examined more closely than ever.
It was surprising that he actually filmed it.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that because how did you go about getting the footage? And do you know the intent of the videographer, why he or this person took the footage?
She's a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to reveal her sources, so you don't have to reveal that.
Taylor's name has surfaced repeatedly in public disputes surrounding Britney Spears' conservatorship, including lawsuits and filings that alleged she earned substantial fees while overseeing Britney's financial affairs alongside other high-profile clients. Taylor has denied wrongdoing, and no court has ruled that she improperly profited. Still, her proximity to multiple powerful figures has kept her under sustained scrutiny. Commentators argue her connection to Kris Jenner adds another layer of intrigue. Public reporting has noted that Taylor provided guidance to Jenner on various business and organizational structures over the years, including involvement, direct or indirect, in setting up entities that later drew attention for their tax-exempt status. One such organization, the California Community Church, has become a focal point for critics questioning how celebrity-linked religious institutions operate financially. No charges have been filed, and the church maintains its legitimacy. The overlap deepens when examining figures tied to Britney's conservatorship. Andrew Wallet, a former business manager and co-conservator during a key period, was involved in overseeing elements of Britney's estate at a time fans allege large sums were unaccounted for, claims that have not been proven. To skeptics, the recurrence of the same financial intermediaries across unrelated celebrity empires feels less accidental than systemic. Timing has only intensified speculation. Kris Jenner's recent MAC Cosmetics partnership reportedly created internal friction, particularly with Kim and Kylie, whose own brands dominate the beauty space. Analysts note the deal's announcement came shortly after Jenner and Kim Kardashian quietly unfollowed Diddy on social media just before federal raids on his properties, a sequence that fueled online theorizing. Was it coincidence or strategic repositioning? One former cosmetics executive, speaking hypothetically, remarked, "Kris doesn't move without intent. Big legacy brands offer insulation when reputational storms are brewing. For now, these remain patterns, not proof." But as more connections are examined side by side, critics argue the financial red flags are becoming harder to ignore.
This Kim Kardashian devoted her life to something, but it certainly wasn't the pursuit of academic excellence. She didn't even go to college.
Let's talk about the $600 million figure that keeps resurfacing, most notably Kylie Jenner's sale of a 50% stake in Kylie Cosmetics, finalized in January 2022. On its own, the deal was widely celebrated as a landmark business success, but online investigators quickly noted the timing. That same month, renewed attention erupted around Britney Spears' finances, with fans alleging, without court confirmation, that significant funds tied to her conservatorship were unaccounted for. The numerical overlap sparked theories that refused to die. What added fuel was the structure of the Kylie Cosmetics transaction. Public records show the sale involved corporate entities registered in Delaware, a state commonly used by major corporations for legal and tax efficiency. To critics, that structure feels opaque. To legal experts, it's standard practice. Still, speculation intensified when reports surfaced claiming Lou Taylor's firm was consulted during the deal. Taylor has denied wrongdoing in all matters related to Britney Spears, and no authority has linked the Kylie transaction to any misconduct. Yet in the world of federal investigations, timing and repetition matter. If investigators ever examined overlapping advisors, intermediaries, or financial vehicles across unrelated celebrity empires, they would be looking for patterns, not proof of guilt, but consistency of relationships. Reality television contracts have also drawn renewed attention. Insiders from early Keeping Up with the Kardashians production have long described Kris Jenner as an aggressive and unusually sophisticated negotiator. Some former staffers, speaking hypothetically, recall contractual language allowing for non-traditional revenue streams. That phrasing, while not illegal, has fueled speculation about complex accounting structures that outsiders didn't fully understand. None of these claims have been litigated, but critics argue they warrant curiosity given the broader context now being discussed. Then there's social media, the modern paper trail. Observers noted that several posts featuring Diddy disappeared from Kris Jenner's Instagram following his arrest. Digital archivists quickly pointed out that screenshots and cached versions still exist, showing public appearances together as recently as 2019. Deleting posts is not a crime, but in legal theory, prosecutors sometimes view post-event digital cleanups as relevant context, especially if an investigation is already underway. That's not an accusation, just how evidentiary analysis works. RICO law, often mentioned in online commentary, doesn't require someone to commit a crime themselves. It focuses on patterns, recurring associations, financial flows, and coordinated activity over time. Legal scholars stress that simply knowing controversial figures or engaging in aggressive business practices does not meet that standard. But once the same names, advisors, and entities appear repeatedly across unrelated controversies, scrutiny tends to increase. Internally, pressure appears to be mounting. Reports of tension between Kim and Kris over the MAC Cosmetics deal suggest fractures that go beyond branding. Kylie's silence on persistent online questions has been interpreted, fairly or not, as strategic. Kylie, once openly vocal about her past proximity to Diddy, has largely withdrawn from the conversation altogether. This isn't proof of anything, but it does suggest a family family recalibrating in real time. For decades, Kris Jenner's defining strength has been control of narratives, access, and visibility. But control becomes harder when stories intersect, when allies fall under investigation, and when digital records outlive public statements. Diddy's indictment changed the landscape. Whether it ultimately touches anyone else remains unknown. What is clear is that this is no longer just a gossip cycle. It's a convergence of speculation, documentation, and heightened scrutiny. And if history has shown anything, it's that once investigators begin pulling on threads, even cautiously, they rarely stop at the first knot. Whether this ends as another chapter the Kardashian-Jenner brand survives, or something far more consequential, is still an open question. But survival, should it come, may look very different when the threat isn't public backlash, but sustained legal attention.
You know, the thing about the kids at some point here, and not for the younger ones, it's at some point. For North, it's right now, right? That even if she doesn't see it, even if somehow Kim is able to keep that away from her, the kids that her friends at school, they're gonna know about it. They're gonna see it. And it's just, it puts the kids in a horrible.
And then there's the wild card, Ye. His very public fallout with the Kardashians is well documented, but insiders claim his private conversations with 50 Cent have been far more volatile. According to people familiar with those discussions, Ye has allegedly shared materials he believes expose how power moves behind the scenes. Messages, documents, and financial information he claims are connected to Kris Jenner's business dealings. His motivation, one source says, isn't subtle. He wants to tear the system down. Whether any of that material is accurate or admissible remains unknown, but if even a portion can be verified, it could dramatically raise the stakes. That's what makes this moment feel different. The Kardashian-Jenner brand has spent years cultivating an aura of untouchability, weathering scandals, reshaping narratives, and converting controversy into content. But legal frameworks like RICO don't care about celebrity. They focus on paper trails, recurring relationships, and financial patterns over time. Fame doesn't shield anyone from that kind of scrutiny. Critics argue the alleged overlaps, religious entities, cosmetics deals, conservatorship of finances, longtime intermediaries, are what make this story so combustible. On their own, each element can be explained. Together, they invite questions that won't be answered by a press release or a perfectly staged Instagram post. So the real question becomes, how far would Kris Jenner go to protect what she's built? Would longtime allies suddenly become liabilities? Would distance, silence, or legal maneuvering be enough to outlast sustained scrutiny? Or would doubling down on influence and image prove to be the final gamble? What's clear is this: if the next chapter unfolds the way some predict, it won't break through gossip blogs first. It will surface in court filings, subpoenas, or evidence disclosures that change the conversation overnight. And if that happens, it could make earlier celebrity scandals look minor by comparison. So now it turns to you. Is Kris Jenner a mastermind who pushed the system too far, or a powerful figure caught in the crossfire of a machine that eventually turns on everyone? Share your theories below, because this story is evolving fast, and the next development could land at any moment. Until then, stay curious, stay critical, and remember, Hollywood's biggest scandals aren't always the loudest ones. They're the ones hiding in plain sight.